A pact once broken, forged anew. Warlocks forged anew.
Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? This is the energy we've settled on.
We entered last episode with I don't want to say violent energy, but there was an intensity there that we don't normally bring to the show. Now we are. So
That's
that was
my
last
fault.
time.
I need to apologize. I want to make a formal apology. And I don't want to bring it here. And Hunter, I should have discussed with you. I have a fiery Latin temper, and sometimes it gets the better of me, and that's wrong on me. And I'm sorry to you and our audience.
I just took a sip of water.
I waited for it. I saw you doing
so
it,
rude.
and that's the only reason I did that. And I apologize for that as well. But I'm sorry. Sometimes it is hard to just keep that strong fiery spicy temper in check. So that was that. Yeah, you didn't deserve that. Nobody deserved that. So I promise to not do that again anytime soon.
Okay. So anyway, that's the
look on your face. Look on your face.
I do not believe this. That was the energy last time. This time, we've got stuff to talk about. We've got some stuff to go over. So we're bringing the energy down a little bit just to start. And then I'm sure by the time we are done, we will be ranting and raving like we always are. But we got stuff to talk about this week. Let's see here. We have our doc, so I can see all these fancy ththings. We had our kobold intern stomach pumped. And we pieced together like a many pieced puzzle. Our outlines.
So we're on episode 13.
We're on episode 13. We've done 13 episodes of this. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I'm proud of us. We did it.
This was always the goal. 13th. Yeah, it is Friday. Ooh, it is Friday, and it's our 13th episode. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that.
I feel like we should come up with because we missed, like, we didn't really talk about anything when we hit 10 episodes. We didn't talk about anything last episode when it was a dozen episodes. I feel like we should talk about something that we want to do for like our 20th episode.
Ooh.
Like that's a big number. Like, what is something that we want to do for that specifically?
Man, there's so many things, and I'm trying to think of which would be the funniest.
Our 20th
Okay, let
episode, if we don't miss any weeks, our 20th episode
yeah, that's
will
the part I was
be
gonna math up now. Yeah,
May 1st.
May 1st. Hmm. Damn it. If it was the 5th, if it was one more episode later, it'd be Cinco de Mayo,
Ooh.
and
I mean,
I
we could take a day off.
we'll see how it goes. A
We
Cinco de
could
Mayo
a
episode.
Cinco de Mayo episode. I mean, we can
Uh,
that also we're gonna do a Cinco de Mayo episode either way, right? Um,
yeah. I'm not Mexican, but sure, we could make this work. Uh, in a very respectful way.
for those of you who only listen to the podcast, I'm sure you can't tell, but I am also not Mexican. Just want to clarify that up.
Man.
Um,
All
yeah,
right.
I am very white. And so yeah, I mean we'll talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
We'll figure it.
Yeah.
Is that
We'll
is
figure
that
something
cultural
out.
appropriation? Is that bad? We
Yes.
should. Okay, if it's bad, we won't
1000%.
do it.
I'm
Um,
I'm Hispanic. That's adjacent, but still not the same thing. I was thinking of like an actual breakfast episode.
I would love to do just
And
an actual like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
having breakfast with everybody. Yeah, that'd be fun.
So
Um,
I was thinking of something like literal breakfast situation, and we can go all out and make our fun TTRPG themed breakfast that would celebrate, and we'd be
yeah.
sharing that with everybody.
What
It
if
would
we?
be a
What do you?
mukbang for people watching and ASMR
Oh,
for people listening.
I hate both of those
Uh,
things.
I'm not a fan either, but that's what 20
What do
episodes gets
you
us.
what do you feel about building on that? What if we like hit up a bunch of our like friends of the show?
Hmm.
And we're just like we're gonna do a breakfast episode. Anybody who can make it, like we'll just we'll just bring on other people who are also eating breakfast with us. And we'll talk random nonsense.
This is good. Yeah, this isn't crazy.
Okay.
I like
So
this.
if you're
It'll
out there in internet land and are a friend of the show, you may get a message from me where I'm like, "Hey, eat breakfast with us on the stream." And when that call
It's not as weird.
comes,
It's not as weird as it sounds.
it's not as weird as it sounds. When that call comes, say yes. Uh, Anyway, this is Warlocks and Waffles. I'm sure you can tell by everything we've said so far. This is a TTRPG morning show. We are here to tell you all the things and the stuff and the other stuff and the other things. This week we have like actual stuff to talk about. Usually when when we do this show, we just sort of come up with random stuff we want to talk about, but we do genuinely have like a discussion this week.
Yeah, this is actual stuff.
Yeah, Junie went to the virtual version of the Creator Summit earlier this week for Wizards of the Coast to talk about the upcoming like D&D stuff and the changes and stuff that they're doing. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that was gone over, some of the new things that you can expect, and all of that. I was not there, so I don't know where we're starting. Junie, take it away.
Hey, yeah. So there are a lot of people that have already put out a lot of really good detailed write-ups,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of different topics that are discussed. Were discussed. We're going to be just kind of going over some of since the things that affect us are going to be the big the rules changes and the revisions that are going to be coming out in 2024. They're coming out with a new player's handbook, and they're not making sixth edition. It's not 5.5. The whole one D&D banner thing was just kind of like they're all encompassing. This is what's next. Their Marvel Phase
Right.
4 thing. But
Everything all
they,
together, sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So different things like the VTT and a bunch of other stuff was discussed a lot. A lot of things happened that people can talk about better. This I can I can talk about because I can articulate it a little better. The big things that I was personally really looking forward to. That the classes they're going to be 12 classes. They're going to be 48 subclasses. Everything's going to get 4 subclasses. So like if anybody is working just off the vanilla handbook or D&D Beyond, I'm guessing they have to do it. Whenever I would make somebody would make a class, they only had like the 1 feat and like the 1 wizard or something like that because not every subclass is available straight from the handbook. So they're going to be picking and choosing some of them and getting them out there just in the handbook. Background, new backgrounds, feats, spells, all that fun stuff. The one thing I thought was really interesting for weapons, they're adding new masteries to them,
Mm.
and it's going to be a new column. The weapons will all be there the same. They'll have light thrown, all that fun stuff there, but then there'll
Mhm.
be a masteries column that your class will unlock.
Okay.
And if you have a class that unlocks a certain feature, you get a special thing in that weapon. So
Okay, so like
there was
if I'm a barbarian, like I can more effectively use a battle axe than like a rogue could. So like
yes.
I might gain new features from that weapon.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
And it was interesting, like what do you call it? They made it so everything has something.
Hmm.
They changed short sword to martial, so it's not a
Ooh,
simple
okay.
weapon. And things like a club will have slow. So
Hmm.
if you are a fighter, I think they said fighter will unlock everything's mastery, but like rogue will do like a
Of course
dagger
it will.
and a this. Yes. But I also believe, and this is the one that I know can be uh how they fighter can interact with the most, gets to unlock things. Um a fighter will be able to move a weapon's property to something else and like mix and match things. So you can assign like 2 weapon properties when like because if you've unlocked the blank property from this, you can kind of
Uh-huh.
apply it. And yeah, it's gonna be weird. You're gonna be able to like pick and choose the things you've unlocked. I don't know how it becomes unlocked. I don't know if it's just you got to be a certain level or you have to say you've used it for certain levels. But
Okay.
it's going to be something that they're going to be able to change it around.
Can you give
Um,
me an example of what that looks like? I'm having a hard time of even thinking of what that would be.
okay. So only one class can it's gonna be the only class that can like basically take a property
Mm-hmm.
from something. So if something has slow,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe take that slow property that they've unlocked and apply it to a different weapon that would have nick or like essentially like bleed.
Mm-hmm.
uh Puncture. There's puncture, topple, flex. Oh, flex is really good. Flex is if you have a versatile weapon that needs that like it's one-handed or two-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Flex is if you unlock it, like barbarians and fighters can do it, you can use a two-handed weapon in one hand.
Perfect.
So you can have a great axe
Yeah.
in one hand and like a
Okay.
shield.
I think that's where the disconnect was happening for me was that you were as you're talking about properties, I'm thinking of like the reach property and stuff like that. I'm like,
Oh no,
how
this
like
is
you can
this is
just
just something.
apply these to like I'm a fighter, so I have the reach property on my dagger.
No, you're right.
I
I'm
can
sorry, but
stab somebody 10 feet away.
it's more like just something for being good with that
Right.
weapon.
It's more of a like a mastery of the fighting style of that weapon, and so then
Correct.
once you
Yeah.
have mastered that, you can learn to like incorporate that into the fighting style of
Yeah.
other weapons. Got it. Okay.
I also think that they are changing two-handed fight. I think they're changing two-handed fighting to not just be and I think this is happening in like an unearthed
Two weapon
arcana
fighting
sooner.
sucks.
They're changing it so like a wizard can't come up and just dual wield daggers. So
Oh,
like
so when they say they're changing two weapon fighting, they mean they're making it worse.
No, because there'll be weapon properties or like I think rogues can do that specifically. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like there'll be something that they can do that makes it's just gonna be like a wizard won't be able to do it. That's what I mean. A
Okay.
wizard won't be able to like do that one.
Okay.
Um they're changing warlocks around
Mm.
to okay, this one's wild.
I have a
They
vested
want
interest in this.
they're making it so most things get their whatever it is going to be at 3, right?
Mhm.
But you kind of as a warlock, the way it was described was you make a baby pact
Okay.
and you will make the pact of the chain, the blade, or the tome at level
Okay,
1.
so they're moving their pact boon to level 1, and then their actual pact choice happens at 3 like everybody else.
Yes, but
Okay.
the pact of the tome, the blade, or the chain will either use your intelligence, your wisdom, or your charisma.
Mm.
You choose which one you want to be your spellcasting modifier.
And that works for like going forward
Warlocks,
for your warlock. So warlock is no longer a like a just a charisma caster.
Stri-
They can be any of the
correct.
3.
Depending
Ooh,
on which pact you picked, you can have an intelligence based warlock,
I
and
like that.
it's about building that like
I
what
do
they
like
can
that
get.
cuz yeah, cuz then you can have like you can play that character who is like a wizard who went to school but just wasn't like gifted in magic, and like tried to learn, studied real hard, like is very very smart but just didn't have the like skill, and makes the deal and gets the magic, and like now they're a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's very cool. I like that. I love some
It's
versatility.
yeah. It's kind of interesting. This is something they're already doing in the with the spell lists. That are going to be changing the spell lists.
Mhm.
Certain spells will be just class specific. The
Okay.
one that I guess that surprised me, and I don't know why, because I know that this is most of the time the case, but paladins will get fine steed, and they will be the only ones to get fine steed. So
Okay.
that's a thing. Uh,
Sure.
yeah. What else? Oh,
That's such a wild one to be like,
yeah,
no, only paladins can summon
yeah,
horses.
yeah. I thought that was like okay, sure. Uh, all sorcerers will get chaos bolt. I think it was
Okay.
like as a
Not
free cast.
oh, as a free like as a cantrip?
No, but not a
Like as a
spell slot.
like as a
Like a
one
free
per
use,
day.
I think. I think so. I don't know
Okay.
if it's I don't know if it's gonna be proficiency bonus
Mhm.
or something like that, but the way it was described, I believe it was
Free spell
not
slot
spell
basically.
slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but something like that. It's going to be their special thing. And how they can manipulate the damage might be interesting as well.
Mhm.
Um, what was the other one? They're separating the spell lists, and they're gonna make it so the spell lists are you don't have to hunt for what spells you can use.
Okay.
So they won't be in alphabetical order. They'll be in these main big categories. But when you go to look for what spells you can go to, you can just go to the big chunk and everything there will be applicable to you.
Okay.
Because you'll know that, oh, I'm a warlock, I get blank, or I'm warlocks are gonna get Eldritch Blast.
Right.
They're getting Eldritch Blast.
I
It's
mean,
not gonna be some
warlocks are the only ones that use Eldritch Blast right now anyway.
yeah, but I don't know if it'll be like a you can do it with like a magic initiate feat or something like that,
Mm. Mhm.
where you can try to like hybrid the your way in there. But that is that. They're gonna be dividing the spell list. Um and they want to make it just easier to find spells.
Mhm.
And the whole making the process of making your character looks like they're really focusing on,
Mhm.
because the big thing that I like got really excited was they are going to teach people how to play before you make your character. So
Okay.
instead of diving you into character creation and you going, I don't know what I'm going to need any of this for, do I focus on blank or blank? They give you some sort of basics of how things work,
Uh-huh.
and then they will walk you through character creation. And they're going to have default stat arrays that are decent for any class. So if you're like, oh, you want a paladin? Okay, here's something that would work for paladin. And then it would be like, strength,
Mhm.
whatever for dex, con,
So
dump the other two, and then high charisma. Like they're just some default stat arrays that we use anyway. You know what I mean? Like
right.
whenever if you were making a barbarian, you would kind of gravitate towards high strength, high dex, high con, and then dump the other things. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It would give you a default thing that would be, this is okay for that, depending on what you're thinking of. And I don't know if they'll give more than one for each thing, but they're going to give you sample stat arrays, and they've already started doing this on D&D Beyond. Have you used the pre-made characters?
Mm-mm.
If you go to D&D Beyond and you go to a campaign, there's create a unassigned character, but now there's create pre-made character. And for every class, you can just click it and it'll make it. Equip the items, equip the spells, give it a name, give it descriptions and stuff. And it's just there. And now I just went through and then clicked like made one of everything instead of my
Huh.
ADD. Instead of just having the same character over and over again, I always go like, what am I going to make this time for pre-mades? And I always make pre-mades, and that's just me putting more work on myself.
Right.
But you can just click it, and then they don't just give like a random first name. You can like click a full name. They give you sample names,
Mhm.
and then so I made a bunch of ones, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just make a bunch of threes, and then I was like, I'll just have all of these here, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they'll all be here. And you don't have to worry about anything being old or outdated, because since it's all 5th edition, it's all still legal,
Right.
so it doesn't just go away. It'll be, every table's different. You're gonna have to go by what works for you and your table type of thing. But
Mhm.
you know, if this is like I think all backgrounds are gonna have a feat.
Right.
And there'll be like more powerful feats later on. It's not going to be like, you're getting something too like broken. The whole point is they're play testing
Mhm.
now and whatnot. But uh something like, this, it'll give you that little extra something, you know what I mean? And it won't be
Right.
situational to the point of like, oh, I hope this one thing happens so I could use the one cool thing I have. Or you have to try to shoehorn it in. It's just like, but also I know I hate overwhelming people when it comes to, hey, look, if they can make it so when I hand people a character sheet, it is not so horrifying. I hand somebody a character sheet, they're new, and I go, hey, don't look at these numbers and don't look at all this stuff. We'll worry about this when we get to it. If there's a way when there's just like, making all that skill tree, that's the big thing that people see at first
Mhm.
type of thing. And then, this is slowly how they ease you into the rest of it. That would be great. Um, but everything's getting new art. They're well aware that DMs don't use the DMG a lot,
Mhm.
and I think that they are repurposing. They're like redoing it. They want to definitely make it so not just that like, oh, here's the rules. They want like everybody to learn the rules,
Right.
but also if you are stuck in a campaign, you are running out of ideas, you are running out of XYZ, it will help you.
Okay.
So
Like random generator tables and stuff like that, or
tables, and just maybe like there's got to be a thing on like safety tools, and like there's a lot more session zero-y like, because if you notice
Mhm.
in a lot of newer stuff, there's a little more session zero-y type of stuff. And in Ravenloft, the Domains of Dread, like there was like the way they split up the domains, it kind of gives you a lot of hooks. It tells you like these big broad stroke
Yeah.
ideas, and then you can kind of take it to run with it, but it's never like a full outline. I think they're going to go that route.
Okay, cool.
So it's something where if you need something, you can pull it up more,
Right.
and you'd want to pull it up more, because then it's just like, where am I going to go from here? What can I do? They're going to make magic item selling and creation kind of a little easier and simplified.
Yeah, I
um
saw somebody saying that the like magic item like costs and stuff are going to be more like readily laid out. Cuz I mean, it's absurd. The
mhm.
pricing that the pricing model that they have in there is completely unsustainable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's I don't know how to not make somebody too rich or too poor. Um, I I I do this for when I play with younger people, but I've started doing it with like everyone else now. I just kind of go little bit of money, a normal amount of money, and then a lot of money. And people are okay with that instead of getting dollar amounts.
Mhm.
And then we'll just go, you can afford that or not.
Mhm.
And more times than not, in my cases, everybody's just fine with that because they care more about getting whatever the thing is, not getting the thing, doing what they have to do to get the thing, and
Mhm.
then just going about their business. You give people too many magic items, they're gonna forget they have them anyway.
Mhm.
So it's either
Or
just
you
like
end up
whatever, give it to them.
something
Mhm,
something I've seen recently is like one person in my group will end up having like 6 magic items, and then
mhm,
somebody else in my group has like maybe one. And it's like, why does this person have 6? And they're like, oh well, it was like it seems like that was the that item was best suited for that character when we got it. And it's like, yeah, but you've done that with the last 6 items. Like the other people in your group can also use these effectively. Like this person has only has a very simple magic item, and this person has so many magic items that are all like attunable magic items, so they're not even using them.
mhm, yeah, mhm.
um yeah.
Uh, and if we think about like the big three books,
Hmm.
there's the monster manual. There apparently some things are getting spicier. They're going to be
Okay.
making a lot of things hurt more. So higher CR things are going to hurt more now. But they're also the way you described it was they're making like the apex predators of other groups that don't normally get that kind of treatment.
Okay.
So like the apex predator ooze,
Mm.
things like that. So it's like the apex, the level 20 archfey,
Hmm.
the level 20 beast, if
Right.
it's
Making it
these
so
things.
that the end boss can be something that isn't just like a dragon or a lich.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's they're all getting like this Xanathar's slash Tasha's special treatment.
Hmm.
And it's all going to be compatible, so it's not supposed to uh just change things. It's going to be a
Hmm.
new book, so it's not just going to be. I don't know how that's going to work on D&D Beyond as far as like if then you just get it or you got to get the new one. I think it's you got to get the new one, but
Based
they've been doing
on
this whole
the multiverse one, I would assume you're gonna have to rebuy it, which will
yeah.
be frustrating. But
But it's they've been doing a lot more. You get the digital when you get the physical type of thing.
hmm.
So I would not. At least I don't feel like I'm buying it full 2 times. It's just
Hmm.
a matter of I get it the way I need it, or like you know I just choose the one. I don't want more physical things. I could just choose the digital one. I know I'm not
Hmm.
paying more, type of thing. You don't get discounts on digital stuff as much as you get discounts in the physical. So that's like if you wait type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, there's oh god, I always reflavor my bards anyway, so this for me isn't as dramatic. But the potential of a dance bard was put up there, and I'm excited for that because I already did one, and it was like an 80s jazzercisey type of imagine like a gritty John Wick reboot of Richard Simmons. That was more or less. It was
That's so
Randy.
stupid.
Yeah,
I love
Randy
that.
Moves. His name was Randy Moves, right? And he was just like a chain smoking, like, "Oh, I'm done with all this." But when he had to turn it on, he would rip off whatever trench coat or whatever it was, and he had the spandex, and he put on sweatbands, and he was just like that motivational, like, guy.
That's so stupid. I love
It
that
was
so
it was
much.
real stupid. It was he would dance fight wherever he needed to go. It was real dumb. But oh boy, did I love it. Um, but yeah, new art for things. But big thing is they're trying to make it easier to use.
Hmm.
And the things that they know we are not using, asking the questions, why the hell aren't we using it?
Hmm.
And what would they have to do to make it so we want to use it? So
Right.
lore and better tables and things like that. Um, and everything's getting play tested so people can like voice their opinions. They apparently really look at those surveys. So if you do the Unearthed Arcanas, the play tests and stuff like that, fill out those surveys, really write in those comments because they apparently there's people that spend hours looking at those and tagging problem points. So, but that's the 2024 revisions in a nutshell.
Hmm.
There's probably some things I forgot, but overall, like I said, a lot of people wrote a lot of things on
Oh yeah.
everything that happened during the summit.
There's some people that
Yeah.
took incredibly detailed notes, did huge like write-ups and stuff. It's very
Hmm.
impressive.
Yeah. I know somebody was writing all day. She ended up with 32 pages of notes, and Jordan knows who she is. Went hard body. But there's so much more, and just yeah, feel free to check it out if you type in the Creator Summit. Ted from Nerd Immersion. I wrote today. I have seen people live tweet, but that man live tweeted. Oh my god. I was just like, damn, I working on a delay? How the hell did he already get this full ass tweet? Like right here, right now. Oh my god. Like it'd be detailed. But oh yeah, an actual plays. Yeah, I'm interested to see how like that Roseby says how the changes might take actually playing. I want to know how it's going to change things for people in that there is this big I feel like there's a bigger collaborative storytelling mindset
Hmm.
kind of like taking over because of the whole actual play like scene, and people want that kind of experience whether or not it is for a stream or at home. It's not just I'm seeing more and more we're telling these dope stories and less just war gamers. You know what I mean? And that could
Hmm.
just be from my limited view because I not that those things are wrong. I've known there are people that are just like go see the map and it's more like a chess game. It's more of like how can I use all these things and min max myself to be the most badass and kill that thing, and that's
Hmm.
all they want, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm seeing more of let's see what happens. This is my character,
Hmm.
and reacting to things, and sometimes it's violence, sometimes it's more of a hilarious situation.
There's been a move towards the like the best form of it's what my character would do, of
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
really leaning into the role play of your character when it's like this is it's going to benefit the story role playing, as opposed to the like it's what my character would do, and it's like really your character would stab your party member and take the money that they just got and then run off into the darkness. It's what my character would do. Really, your character would stab the mayor in the face for no reason, because he
Yeah.
looked at you kind of funny. Like those players are slowly either they're either changing or I just don't play with them anymore. So I'm sure they're still out there, but I play with substantially fewer of them now.
Yeah.
Um, I just don't see it as much anymore as I used to. And I think a lot of it is just like it it has been so thoroughly called out online of like, hey, nobody likes this play style.
Hmm.
That when
Yep.
people do bring it, they're thoroughly just berated for it. And it's like I am very against like bullying and harassing people. But
Yeah,
if you are bringing something to the table where you are going to use it to bully and harass other players at the table, you should be like shamed for that. Like you don't need to bring that. That's a bad thing that you're doing. So I'm very excited about this movement of like players who are like, yeah, I have players in my game who will ask me to give them disadvantage on rolls because they're like, I feel like my character wouldn't, like, I want to roll history, but like I feel like it's a very small chance that my character has actually ever heard of this thing. Like, can I have disadvantage on the roll? I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Or like I had one person who they didn't have a point of exhaustion, but like their character was real tired. They had been running. They're in like heavy plate mail. And so they had to do an athletics check, and they're like, I'm gonna give myself disadvantage on this because I'm exhausted. And they rolled it, and like they still made it, but it was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, take your disadvantage. I will give you advantage somewhere else down the line to balance that out, because like I love a player that is like, I want to do this for the story. It's just great. I love that so much.
That involves a lot of trust too,
Yes.
because there is this firm, I'm the DM, I'm in charge, I am God mindset that can take over.
Mhm.
And there are some people that hold firm to, I'm in control here. You don't just say XYZ. As long as there's this understanding of we're all in this together, it's not me versus you,
Mhm.
then you get those fun moments where the player feels they can say that kind of thing. Because there
Yeah.
are sometimes people feel they can't make those kinds of calls because so and so's not going to let me do that, or I didn't even know that was possible. So I know I've definitely surprised somebody where I was just like, hey, would you want to do this or that? Or we like, what is it? We reflavored because she wasn't very good at charisma, but they were a professional athlete in their past, their
Mhm.
character, and they were like, unfortunately, the face man for this heist. So we were like, how famous do you think you are? And I rolled on my end and it was a natural 20, and I was like, people are looking at you like, is that Johnny? And I was like, you're Tom Brady famous right now, unfortunately for you. So it was great for them, but they had no charisma. So
Mm.
I was just like, and it hit me, and I was like, I was that guy at that point. I was like, well, what if you reflavored your athletics to be like you're talking shop? You know what I
Mm.
mean? You're telling sports stories, you're listening to people, you know how to like do that post-game interview type of thing,
Mhm.
and use your +6 there. And they loved it, and I was like, I mean, it's athletics, it's not your
Yeah.
body, but you know what I mean? You're using your athletic knowledge, you know, you're reliving moments, you're
It's the muscle
showing the thing.
memory of
Yeah,
like post-game
exactly.
interviews and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. The muscle memory of a post-game interview. That's so, yes, that's exactly correct. But having that flexibility and going that the rules are guidelines type of thing, and
Mhm.
not set in stone. They like, there's have fun. It's a game. You
Mhm.
know, so there's that balance you could have.
Absolutely.
Uh hey,
Yes.
Hunter, what do we usually do around now? What
That's
time is it?
a very good question. If memory serves, I think it's time for the Ranger Report.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I don't know. I can't hear the song, so
That's not the song.
it's not. We're
No.
gonna get flagged. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the song is just sort of this like poppy news, like din, 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 din. You really should listen to it. It's in the thing.
I've heard it once or twice, but it doesn't play.
It doesn't play on your
during
end.
this one. Yeah.
Welcome to the Ranger Report, everybody. We are here to bring you the news inside of your news. This week, Junie, what's the weather like?
This week, it's a bit confusing because it is raining up. You will see that that plants are drying out, and everything, the moisture in the ground is being literally sucked out of the very earth and just flowing upward and just going vaguely southwest. No one knows what's happening, but it is raining up and then kind of curving off to the side a little bit. At first, it was kind of cool because you're like, whoa, what's happening? It's not hurting anybody. Birds are confused. But now it's starting to become really problematic. Wells are drying up, and just fish are just dying. Water levels are dropping. Where is this water going? No one knows. Local authorities definitely want, this is both news and weather, so local authorities would like any help in solving this weather phenomena. Has nothing to do with the blood moon, we've already confirmed that, but it does look like it is going to continue raining up on and off for the foreseeable future. Back to you.
Thanks, Junie. We have a sponsor this week that is going to be Not Your Grandmom's Bags. I'll draw up that code in the chat for you. Doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-boop. Nope, that's wrong. It's bag, not bags in the chat. Are you looking for a thing to keep your other things inside of? Dice, minis, pens, loose buttons? It sounds like you need a bag. Head to Not Your Grandmom's Bags and use code WAFFLES for 15% off your order. Not Your Grandmom's Bags has so many cool things over there. If you've got a hankering for some bags, if you've got a pet that you want a bandana, if you just think that pet bandanas make really good bracelets, like whatever you are looking for today, you can find at Not Your Grandmom's Bags, as long as it is one of the things they sell. They also have a wide variety of patterns, ranging from things like, I'm just going to say things because I don't actually know if they have these patterns, but I'm sure they could if you asked.
I'll confirm them. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
That was a question.
I think so, but now I don't know.
Or just a pattern that has various types of potatoes on it.
Nah, I think that one might be. Does that, if it exists, she can get it, but that one, no.
What I'm hearing is custom order.
You know, there. Oh gosh, yeah, she takes custom orders. Heck yeah. Sports, Nightmare Before Christmas, Disney, all. Yeah. Oh, so there's things. There's.
What if I want a pet bandana for my dog that is just covered in cats?
Oh, most definitely.
Awesome.
I'm almost positive of this one.
This
is also a real company.
It is a real company. It is a company, and they sell products and do business. And it is in no way a fake company.
I feel like when I say it, I'm like really trying to like, hey guys, no, seriously, it's real. And I don't know why when you say it, it makes me go, wait a second, what?
Here's the thing.
We say the same thing. I don't know what it is.
We say the same information. I just am not entirely sure. You have proof that they are a real company. I have taken your word for it.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
it could be an elaborate prank, but it's not. It's a real company.
It's real.
This has been the Ranger Report. Tune in next time.
Wait. Did you already hit the music?
I haven't yet.
Okay. I had a news story. I did have one.
Oh, you have an update?
Yeah. Yes. This just in your game, in your world, you will find me. Junie Ruiz has somehow isekai'd into your game. What powers and abilities are now applicable? No one knows. Did I survive? Am I cool? Am I a quest giver? Am I now a part of your party? Let me know. Hit us up.
If your players find Junie, he has one quest. It is, how did I get here? I want to go home.
Yes. Find out how or why, and do I want to go home? Oh. But
well, unless your wife and child went with you, you probably do. You probably really want to get home. You're probably very concerned. This has been the Ranger Report. Every time we do that bit, it gets a little farther away from us.
I I don't know why I really wanted to do that one.
You were just like, I came up with a bit. I can't possibly wait until next time as Hunter is closing out the bit.
A
It
thousand
has to
percent.
be done this
I
time.
was like, I'm gonna forget, or I want the reaction of doing it fresh. I don't want to write it inside the doc. I need to know. I need to put this in there right now.
Oh man. Um
Now in your game, me.
Coming to a table near you, it's Junie. Um have you ever played a game where you played as yourself as a guy did?
Yes. Um, it was I think the one time that was it was extra funny was we did it for roll whose role is it anyway
Mm-hmm.
on Last Game Boards channel, and it was still an isekai-ish situation, but the way we the curveball, and this sucked. We were us, I believe, and we got transported into, like, character bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And we for whose role is it anyways, they give you the character sheet right before the show starts. So it's
Right.
like, boom, here's a character sheet, here you go. And then he told us, what are you? You're a gnome. All right, you only speak gnomish. What are you, a dragonborn? You only speak draconic. And we couldn't communicate
Mm-hmm.
effectively. We had to perform and mime everything,
Love that.
and we found like a a kobold, a gnome, some NPC who just so happened to speak multiple languages,
Mm-hmm.
and they were our interpreter. So it was a series of, like, they had to communicate well enough, or we had to roll to communicate enough to them so they could translate it through. Um, so it was like us, but also language barriers, which was funny.
That's really funny. I love that. I played one of my first campaigns. We played as ourselves in the game. But it wasn't like we had been put into different bodies in the game world. It was legitimately like us disappeared from where we were sitting around the table, appeared in the game world. We only had we only had the stuff that we had on us when we went in. So anything, we're like all emptying out pockets and like filling out information on our character sheet of like, what do we have on us, um and going through like all of that. And it was really fun. We played like a pretty extensive campaign where like we were also in the game world. Most of us were playing like two characters sort of in that same campaign, so we would kind of tag out which ones we were playing. But I as time went on and we were in this like magic world for like extended periods of time, the magic started to like fuse with us because we weren't technically from there, and so the magic was like trying to like bond with us. And so it slowly started changing us to be like, if we had been from there, what would we have been? And so like one of my friend became an elf. His ears started like elongating. He started getting a little bit taller. One of my friends became like this half orc. One of them became a gnome. I became a satyr. Like it was just sort of this like weird like transition, but it was very very cool. It was a fun series of adventures. I highly recommend running a game where you have all of your players like sitting around a table and you hand them blank character sheets, and then they have to fill in character stats for themselves of like, okay, what is my intelligence on a
Yeah.
scale of
Yep.
1 to 18? What is my strength? What is my constitution? And filling all of that out. And then like we had my dad was our GM at this point. He had us all fill out our stats for ourselves and then pass our character sheet to somebody else that was sitting around the table to go over and go, well, that's wrong.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Oh man, because I was like, you know what, making people empty their pockets and go, what do you got on you? That, I think that's really funny. That's really good. But having somebody check your work,
It was
having
like it
somebody
was like
like hold you
I think
accountable.
this is what my intelligence is, and immediately being humbled by one of my best friends of like, nah, like
Oh, that's funny.
take 2 points off of that. But you would have them be like, okay, well this is wrong. Like you're like you are not this strong. Like you need to lower that strength score. But you would have other people that would be like, uh okay, well, you're not that strong, but like you've sold yourself way short on this other one, and I'm gonna bump that up like 4. Like, and so there was this sort of like balance where you're like simultaneously being just absolutely humbled and also like complimented, and it's like, oh no, you're doing good. um it was a wild experience. Highly recommend, as long as you explicitly trust the people you're doing it with,
Yeah,
because um it was a fun time. We
I
ended
definitely
up
see that it's good
trading
for
we found a magic trader who was like traveling through the woods. And I think we traded him like 3 of our cell phones, because they were
oh shit.
these weird and crazy like magic lightning boxes that could like do stuff. And we traded them to him for like a bunch of like equipment because we were all just standing in the middle of dangerous magic woods, wearing like t-shirts and jeans.
Mm,
And yeah, it was very very fun. I really enjoyed it.
that sounds like a really good way for a new like people that are new to the game, so they don't have
Hmm.
to. A lot of us end up playing ourselves, like versions of ourselves anyway. So like
You
make
end
it
up doing
easier on
like a
yourself.
self
Yeah,
insert, but this is like
exactly.
legitimately a self. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
So it's just
very
like, what
very
would
good
you
time.
do? Like,
Yeah.
and then later on they can be something else and then go, what would this person do? So no, I
Hmm.
really like that. That sounds like a fun one. Speaking of a fun one, uh, we have something else on this doc we were going to talk about. My foot pedal's not doing it. Not. eh, Why isn't my foot pedal doing it? I'm so angry that
It's
I'm stomping my foot and it's
there
not.
can be only one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we do have something else on the dock. You finally saw the movie.
I went by myself. I had to do it. It was a little depressing. But you got to do what you got to do. Uh, to to I didn't want to be left out anymore. It was enough. But I saw Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Hmm.
I loved it.
It's so
Uh,
good.
I I was surprised and not surprised in that this movie did something that I I believe is very difficult. A lot of times trailers will either give you, I think there's only 3 things, give you um a not enough to understand what the movie's about,
Hmm.
overly explain things, like
Hmm.
old if you ever watch an old trailer for something, they
Hmm.
just would tell you the whole movie,
Hmm.
and spoil key points, and now trailers aren't that long.
Just a trailer where they're like,
It's like a summary. It's just
this guy's brother betrays him and no one saw it coming. It's like, you just told
yeah,
me. Like,
exactly, but there's
why are
still,
you
like,
showing
key
me
things.
the secret villain?
Uh, oh. Uh, but, like, and they're ones that give you, just the right vibe without doing too much as far as spoiling things,
Hmm.
and I felt that this movie rode that balance perfectly of giving you all the things that give the vibe without ruining things, um, misportraying things. I
Hmm.
feel like I was just like, I think that this is what it is. I bet blank. And this is publicly announced. This is not spoilery or not. They did say publicly that it is not meta because that was a
Hmm.
whole big thing. I
It
said it as soon as saw the first trailer. I was like, are they going to pan out and it's going to be Vin
yeah.
Diesel, Joe Manganiello? Is
Yeah.
it going to be like famous
It
people?
wasn't it would have been really funny if it was Vin Diesel because of the
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious connection. That would have been very very funny. The it wasn't meta. in the sense of like it's not
Yeah.
a D&D game, but it was meta in the sense of like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's very clearly a D&D game.
Yes.
Like and I saw I won't spoil it for anybody in the chat who hasn't seen it yet. Rosie, I see you're seeing it tomorrow. Um all I will say is that there is a character that is in the like trailers and stuff that seems to be like, oh, this is one of the main characters. And so in my head I'm like, okay, these are the PCs. And he's not. He's very clearly an
I
NPC. As you
Yeah.
watch the rest of the movie you're like, oh, he's he's not. He's an NPC. He is a quest giver. He is a like he is there to like help and then be gone. And it's so good. The whole movie is so incredibly well done. The like it there's so many great like practical effects. Like they have Dragonborn, they have Tabaxis, they have Aarakocras. And it's like none of the costumes are like crazy because it's not like all like way insane CGI stuff. It's like practical. So you have like an Aarakocra who's like I have seen people in incredible like cosplays at conventions that look similar.
Yeah. Yep.
But like it's so good. Oh man, Jarnathan. Huh, I love him dearly.
Yes.
The movie is insane. Like if you are a fan of just fun fantasy movies and know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons, first of all, welcome to the show. I'm confused how you found us. Second of all, if you have no interest in Dungeons and Dragons, no interest in tabletop RPGs, you just like fantasy, it is a fun fantasy movie with
Yeah.
no additional information.
Yep.
If you love Dungeons and Dragons and you know the lore and you know the monsters and the characters and stuff like that, um, they the spellcasters in the movie throw spells around. Pretty much every single one I was able to go, that's this spell. That's this
Yep.
spell. I know what that does. I know what that is. The majority of like magic items were like made for the movie, so they're like custom ones. But even that is like very D&D to me, of like they're not using magic items from the established lore, they're using magic items that the GM has made. They have there's a scene where there are two little rust monsters just like arguing over a piece of metal that is
Yeah.
adorable. Every shot there was something in it for me to be like, ooh, I recognize that, I know what that is.
I there are several like potentially controversial hot takes that came out of this movie both
Yeah,
before and after. I'm going to ask you a safe one. I'm going to
okay.
ask you a safe one afterward. We'll talk about some of these spicier ones. But for right now, where were you on the whole owlbear situation?
Okay, here is my stance on owlbear. Sure. Why not? Like it makes sense to me. Druid can transfer if they're a high enough level druid to be able to do it. I don't have a problem with it. The I I think where it started to annoy me was the trailer dropped in the midst of me having like 12 campaigns a week at that point. Um, so every single person who plays a druid in any of my games messaged me and was like, "Can I be an owlbear?" And I was like, "No, you can't because you're not high enough level. But like, if you want to have a conversation when you're high enough level, like, absolutely." Um, I do think, uh, for me, where what sticks out for me about like an owlbear specifically is an owlbear is essentially a beast. Like they have no magic abilities, they have no like nothing that makes them like some sort of magical monstrosity except the fact that they are half owl, half bear. Like
Well,
that is the
it's that they were
only thing.
created like that.
Sure.
I think it was they were like that's the original point, and both in game and out of game, enough time has passed where they have they have their own ecology. Like
Right.
they exist now.
Right.
So then it becomes, if a new species emerges, does that mean that a druid can now turn into it, type of thing?
Right. So for me, an owl bear is like if it had been like I'm gonna wild shape into a displacer beast. No, you're not. A displacer beast has like crazy like magical abilities. They can do these other things. Like you don't have the ability to turn into that. I'm gonna turn into a winter wolf. No, they have like coat of cold and all of this stuff. But an
Yeah,
owl bear
yeah,
is essentially just an animal. Yeah, they're big and they're horrifying, but like they're essentially an animal. Like they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have any of that additional stuff. So to me, if you want to make a druid turn into something that is like new while still being totally viable, I think owlbear was the perfect choice. I can't think of another creature that is so close to regular animal in the D&D like cosmic scale of things.
I know you said winter wolf, and I wonder if some of the bug variants, or they all count, like, a fire beetle, I
Mm.
think you can turn into, because I think that is just a beast. I think some of like the elemental, I think
Yeah,
sometimes they are classified as
there are some
elementals,
that are
but
like
sometimes they're
yeah,
just still
yeah,
a beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely those that it's like, well, like does this one count? Like what about a rust monster? Like it's a technically just a bug. It just eats metal instead of wood. Like
Hmm.
there's all of those sort of like I am I am always of the opinion that if you want to come to me and be like, I want to do this cool thing, and you can give me a good reason for it and you want to like flesh it out and like we'll play with it and we'll see like maybe you'll be able to grow those powers. You want to build a druid around the fact that you can turn into a rust monster? Absolutely. Let's do it. Like I'm super into that. Like I would, oh man, having give a druid the ability to turn into a rust monster, but it's this like unique ability of theirs where they can turn into it. But they like because they can turn into a rust monster, they also can't like use metal weapons or metal armor or anything. Like they can't hold
Oh,
any of the party's treasure. Like because if they wild shape into a rust monster when they come back it's all rusted. Like you could do some very very cool stuff with it. um like I love
I
that.
like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool. I think the oh, this is interesting. I was going through the beast section, and there's a lot of things that you're like, okay, this is a piece of something else. There's the giant versions of everything. There's
Yeah.
a something. There's a giant version, but like Ice Spider Queen in my head, I would have thought that that was like it's just like it's like a queen bee type of thing then. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily like, oh, you have the queen of something or others. One I saw it was a two-headed dinosaur of some sort, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh god, that might be confusing. Or make you think faster. I don't know. Like, would you double your intelligence at that point because you have two of your brains? Or is one dumb and has the normal stat block of the whatever the creature's supposed to have? That'd be a fun
Yeah.
like a two-headed crocodile count as a
Well,
thing.
there's also like in the beast category there's also like piranha swarm.
Yeah,
And
that I
it's like
figure is more for
yeah,
us. Yeah,
yeah.
but I thought that too.
But I've had a player be like, I mean, it's in the beast category and it's the
Yeah, you could
like
you could become a part of a swarm. Like you
yeah.
can join a swarm. You could turn into a thing that is a swarm, can swarm things. But you like so I would say it would be turn into a rat and then see if you can summon and charisma summon enough rats to join your cause to become a
A
swarm.
swarm of rats.
Like yeah, to become I'll allow you the opportunity to try and become a swarm of rats, but you can only
Right.
become a rat and then try to summon people to your cause. So then you're
You
gonna have
have to
to become a
go
politician.
you have to find a bunch of rats. You
Hmm.
have to make a successful persuasion or performance check to win them to your cause. And just as an added bonus for me, I do require you as a player to give me an impassioned plea in just like little mouse noises. Of just like the chipmunk from Enchanted. Just
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
standing up there and being like,
yeah, it's good. I didn't really flip through Volo's guide to monsters, but there's something called
I
the
love
stench
Volo's
cow.
guide. Yeah.
The stench cow. Do you
Hmm.
know this one? Cow is spelled with a K. And one of its abilities is just stench. That is that is good. That is good. But going back to the movie,
Yeah.
going back to the movie, I had one, not an issue. They released, I think, didn't we talk about on stream, like they released the characters? Didn't we talk
They
about this, or
did.
it was
Yes.
just us? They they
On
released the,
D&D Beyond, you can
yeah.
get the like stat blocks of the different characters. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna spoil something because there's one character I super want to talk about. But there is a
We'll say this.
uh
We will give one more week. Next
before we
Friday.
get in spoilery.
Next
Oh,
Friday
yeah,
we
that's
can
fair.
talk
Yeah,
about whatever we want.
that's fair.
You
Yeah,
have been warned.
yeah. But this was in the stat block, so it's not. Then I won't talk about anything that I don't like. I'll talk about something I do like.
Hmm.
Um, Holga, the
Yeah.
barbarian, the quote unquote barbarian. They did, I think, a really good job with that character
Hmm.
in that um they handled rage in a way where it's someone that fights good
Yep.
and is angry, but without making it like, that's what I think of when I think of rage.
Yeah.
Anytime someone goes into a rage, I go, what does it look like for you? And it doesn't always have to be the Hulk.
Right.
It can be
I
something
think
different
too often
situationally.
rage is handled as like berserker, they lose their
Correct.
mind sort of thing. Whereas realistically, the majority of people when they rage are just sort of like just really hyping themselves up and
Exactly.
diving
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was good. And I think this is arguable, but like this is it's not, I don't want to say spoilery, but when someone gets a, what I would classify as a +1 weapon,
Hmm.
I thought that was fun. Uh like, a weapon goes from being just pretty good to, oh, I bet that does more
Oh,
now.
you're talking about the one where the like sword kind of like lights up.
No.
Oh no,
I'm talking about the
you're talking about
axe.
the axe.
I'm talking, because I was just like, that is now a +1.
Yeah,
I would have said that
this is
that
now
now
a
hurts
magic
more.
weapon. Yeah.
Even if it's not
Yeah.
magic, because well, you know what? Yeah, I guess that was a thing. Like, would it, does +1 always? I guess +1 would is always counted as a +1 weapon,
It's always
as
counted
magic.
as a magic weapon. I have often said that like dwarven or elven masterwork weapons of
Hmm.
just normal variety are +1 weapons. Um like if you have a dwarf who makes you just a beautiful handcrafted axe, it's going to be better than a regular axe that you pick
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. But I thought that was, I was just like, that's plus
Yes,
one
I
now.
I love it. I love an evolving weapon.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
am and I may have talked about it on the show before. My first ever D&D character had a when he uh when we started his like story, he was locked in a basement and had been left there. Like there was nobody else, it was just him. He had been locked in this basement. He was like staff working on like a farm or something like that, and the owner of the farm had like locked him in the basement and then left and gone into town. And so he was like the first thing I had to do was escape as
Hmm.
him. And so I'm like running through the woods with like nothing. And so the only thing I had was a literal stick, like a walking stick, but like just a
Okay.
stick I had found in the woods that was like a little bit of heft to it.
Okay.
And that was my weapon to start with. And I like my first encounter was some badgers, and I almost died. But I killed the badgers, and then I took like their fangs and claws, and I put them onto the stick, and now the stick was like
A spear type of thing, or okay, I see what you're saying. I see what
like
you're
a
saying.
bludgeon that had like some spikes off of it.
Yeah.
And then as I killed more, like I think I killed wolves, I killed a bear, I killed a fox, like all of those things just started getting added onto it, and then it got to the point where it was like we killed a troll, and I took its like jawbone off of it, and we killed a dragon, and there were like dragon claws and fangs and stuff on there, and it just kept evolving, and it started as legitimately a normal stick. I found an enchanter at one point. I paid an absurd amount of money to enchant this weapon so that it was like a legitimate magic item, so it couldn't like the stick wouldn't break.
Permanently shillelagh it, like permanent,
yeah,
so that way it would not just
It was a magic weapon, so it gained a bonus to hit and damage. It was unbreakable. So it wouldn't like I didn't have to worry about the stick just snapping in combat. And then the feature that I really liked about it was I got it the ability to be able to detect any creatures that were attached to it. And it did
like a primeval awareness.
Yeah, like a primeval awareness for anything that I had already killed and attached to it.
Oh, damn, that's kind of good.
And then I also gave me the ability to do like extra damage against anything that had been attached to the thing. So it turned into like a artifact level magic item by the time we were done like in that campaign. And like it was legitimately the first and I think only weapon he ever used. Like he may have picked up other weapons here and there, but like for the most part, that was the only thing he used for his entire like character arc. At one point it got enchanted to have the Vorpal property to it. So it was a stick that sometimes if you roll a nat 20, you hit them so hard you just knock their head off of their body.
Like I don't know if you encounter this a lot, but I recently have been encountering players that when I give them something that is, I try to give people things that are in line with something their character would want.
Right.
Like, so that way it's like cool, they want to use it, or like at least it fits. Yeah, there's going to be loot drops that are just, this is random, whoever wants it, who wants to grab it, that's those fun surprises. But I have been finding every once in a while a player that just makes an attachment to their axe or something in a way where I was just like, well, this thing is bigger and better, right? Like I think it was, I gave a barbarian their turtle, and I gave them what looked like a turtle shell shield, and if they kind of like manipulate the center part, it comes up and like the shell splits and like splays out, and it can be a great axe.
Ooh,
so they can either use a shield. They have to make the choice of shield to increase their AC a little bit, and then as a bonus action, like you know what I mean, like switch it or as an action. But then they could have that two-handed big axe, and in the future you'll have flex now, so that way if you're a barbarian, you could probably do it one hand, so it won't be an issue. But I did it to give them that little, they were a turtle, they already had high AC. I was like, you know what, you're gonna make my life hell, but you know what, yeah, this is cool. And they refused, and they just wanted their normal great axe. So I was like, I mean, you could just use your thing. It's the same. It was the same score. It was just another great axe, but it had more cool stuff. And they were like, no, I'll use mine. They wanted to rather use theirs. And I was like, all right, well, I want to do something, like, and I don't know how I gave them something, or if I just left it at that. But I've been finding every once in a while somebody that just wants to, they're doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Vibing in a Coffin. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, we people make those attachments to those things that
100%
you sometimes wouldn't expect. Once again, when a DM trusts you and lets you get that kind of that trust to build on something and grow without eventually it's going to get OP and all that stuff and get out of hand, but there's going to be that fun give and take. My favorite weapon that and similar it would evolve or what I wanted to
Mhm.
do. It was the only cool thing I was like I really super duper got out of my first evil campaign was I
Mhm.
wanted a dual wielder. I imagined like an evil Inigo Montoya, like just like first part Princess Bride Inigo Montoya, but he doesn't get good. Like he just stays I'll kill whoever I have to. Um, I wanted a rapier, like that kind of like not the pointy flexy one, like the
Mhm.
Princess Bride rapier, which it's a straight blade.
Mhm.
Um, but I had his wife and child had passed away, so on one end one name was carved, and on the other end the other one. And you know how like those kind of rapiers have that flat, like big, like
Yep.
flary kind of guard. If you like twisted a certain way, the blade would split down the middle, and it was
Mm.
two, and the blade was just actually really thinner, but it would act. So I could be the plus one. No, it could just be regular, but I would split it, and that would be my thing. So I'd store it as one, but I'd take it out and I'd have it plus. Like it wasn't a plus anything. I was just say like, hey, instead of having two rapiers, I want it to be like it's one. It's a twin
Mhm.
rapier, but I split it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that was the one thing I definitely like got. And I was like, I'm gonna enchant this to be plus one. I want to add like fire and ice, or like I want one to be one thing. Like that was one thing I wanted to evolve,
Yeah.
whatnot. But going in and making that connection and ignoring everything else. Oh no, the question of who the warlock and who's the
It,
waffle.
we've gone too far without receiving that information, so it's we were due for it. Vibin in a coffin asks who is the warlock and who is the waffle. I don't think we've had this conversation, like you and I, to determine this. Um,
Are we going off the intro or what? Are we? One of
I,
us is drinking from a skull. That's all I'm
one
gonna
of us
highlight.
is drinking from skull.
That's all I'm gonna say. One of us is drinking from a skull. Um, Vibing in a coffin. If you go to the Warlocks and Waffles
I think
YouTube
we're
channel,
both, honestly.
that
Like
is a good way to put it.
we're both a little warlock, we're both a little waffle. I don't think either of us are specifically one or the other.
Yeah.
Um,
If you go to the YouTube, the our intro is up there, and you will see how I came to be on this. I was summoned, so am I just
technically,
a
I guess
familiar? Like I don't know, like uh, I could just be Hunter's familiar named
it's
like,
very
oh,
true.
maybe I'm the waffle. I'm the breakfast accessory, and you're
Maybe.
the like maybe we'll hammer it out when we do the children's picture book.
Yeah,
They'll have it all
we'll
illustrated.
figure out the deep lore at some point.
Yeah,
But for now, I think we're both a little both.
that's fair. I'm okay with that.
Um, we are past the point we usually wrap up.
I just
Went
enjoy
a little
talking
long
to
today.
you.
I know
Yeah, yeah.
it's been a little bit, and we had important stuff to talk about today.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Accessory to breakfast. Rosie, stop saying things I need to turn into t-shirts. The
Yeah. Write that. I'm gonna write that down.
Write it down. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. To our chat, to any of you listening to the podcast version later. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time. We will be back on Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern, same time, same channel. And we will be back to talk more stuff. I would love to talk next time about
Mhm.
dragons. Um,
Okay, I feel like you have brought this up more than once, and
I've
I
brought
don't
this
want to
up.
deprive you.
I've brought it up a few times, but specifically because we just talked about the movie.
Uh
And
huh.
in that movie there is a delightful dragon. I loved him so much.
Okay. Yes.
I would love to talk about dragons. And I loved this character, or this dragon in the movie, but I do feel like, again, it is a dragon that is underutilized. It is a dragon that is not
I can
used to
understand
its
that.
to its full extent. So I would love to talk about dragons that are being played like the incredibly powerful creatures they are. Um,
Yeah. As soon as you hit stop, I'm gonna talk to you something about that because I have actually a hot take on that.
mm,
But I don't know if it's not
you don't know if the
spoilery,
world you don't
but
know if the world is ready for it yet.
I'm just saying that in the movie they describe dragons a very
Hmm.
certain way, and then they depict a dragon in a very certain way.
Uh
And I
huh.
was like, you've already established blank, and
Yeah,
you're
you're
showing
contradicting the
blank.
lore of your own movie. Yeah.
And
Um,
it's proving your point. It is doing what
yep.
you are saying,
Yep.
in that they're on paper XYZ. And I feel like it is, we'll get into this in the dragon episode,
We'll
but
get
it's
into it
almost
in the
like a
dragon episode.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's a Pokemon thing because
Yeah.
somebody says that Pokemon is just written by children, and that's why certain Pokemon have these fantastical descriptions, but when you
Hmm.
see them, that thing's not as hot as the sun, but its description says it is,
Hmm.
type of thing. Anyway, yeah. All right.
We'll talk about dragons on Monday.
Mhm.
Everybody have a great weekend. Go see Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves if you haven't yet. It's very very good. I highly recommend it. You have something before we sign off, Junie?
No, no, I'm just counting the three things you give us. You always give us three
Oh,
things, so that's the first one.
oh, that's the first one. Oh man.
Oh yeah, that was a
Second.
call to action. You
It is a
literally
call to
told him to do
action. Go
something.
see the movie.
Yeah.
The second one is going to be um find something that you want to. I'm gonna do all dragon type things because now I'm on that focus. Do find something that you want to hoard. And just now going forward, anytime you find one, like other people will call it a collection, to you it's a hoard. Like what is it going to be? Is it going to be cool rocks? Is it going to be pennies off the street? Is it going to be friends you made along the way? The possibilities are endless. The And our last one this weekend is going to be um go on Zillow or like one of those like online realty places and find your lair. Like just find a location that looks like a good lair for you. Drop it in the Discord. Like, let's see what your lair is. Just
Post an
share
address,
uh
like no, just post a picture of your new lair.
post a picture of your new lair.
Yeah, Google
I
Maps.
mean,
Google Maps
yeah,
a lair. Yeah, yeah.
Google Maps a lair. You can have a lair anywhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere near where you actually live. Don't dox yourself, but like, put a thing in the chat. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, join the Discord. It's a lot of very fun people who are in there. We need to start doing like events in the Discord. Get some activity
Yeah.
in there.
No, I'm down for that.
But other than that, have a great weekend. Remember to embrace the nonsense. And we will see you on Monday.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.